The rebuild is moving forward, and now the entire car world is watching closely. Matt Armstrong has revealed something new about his Bugatti Chiron, and it's raising serious questions about what the manufacturer may have known from the start. This is no longer just about fixing a damaged hypercar. It is turned into the story of an independent builder who did what the factory said couldn't be done. He split the car in half outside of the Bugatti facility, and now he's creating parts that may even improve on the originals. And during this process, he may have uncovered something unexpected hidden inside a cracked piece of cast aluminum. Back in Miami, the energy feels different. The teardown stage, the part everyone believed would be impossible, is officially complete. The Chiron is now separated into two halves. A procedure that Bugatti claimed could only be carried out inside their factory has been successfully done in a small independent workshop. With a tight team, strong determination, real skill, and a refusal to accept the word impossible, Matt proved his point. But now he's moved beyond proving anything. The focus has shifted to something much harder: rebuilding. Not just restoring the car to what it was before the crash, but rethinking what it can become. The list of tasks ahead is intense. The gearbox mounting bracket, one of the most important structural pieces, needs repair. The aluminum front structure must be built again from scratch. 4 damaged radiators require careful attention. And since Bugatti refuses to sell certain parts, every missing component has to be sourced, reverse engineered, or fully fabricated through independent channels. Nothing about this process is simple. On top of the repairs, the car is also getting an upgrade. FXG, the current owner, wants the exhaust to be louder, but not in a cheap or harsh way. He wants it louder in the way a W16 engine truly deserves to sound. Bugatti designs its cars to meet regulations and satisfy a global market. That means the sound is refined, controlled, and softened for mass appeal. That isn't a flaw. It's just how large-scale manufacturing works. But Matt isn't building this car for the mass market. He's building it for one owner, one machine, and one 16-cylinder engine that should sound as powerful as it feels. To make that happen, the entire rear exhaust system has been removed. It wasn't a small task. The rear subframe had to come out, fuse boards were disconnected, dozens of bolts were removed.
Each section was carefully separated until the huge titanium exhaust assembly was finally lifted free. Most of the heavy physical work was handled by Matt's dad, Tony, while Matt focused on editing the main channel video. It shows how this operation runs now: lean, efficient, and family-driven. The exhaust system is now on its way to Valvetronic in Austin. Their team will scan the original setup and design a fully custom replacement. This isn't a shortcut or a basic straight pipe modification. It's proper engineering. The primary catalytic converters will stay in place to meet emission standards, while the secondary catalytic converters, responsible for restricting airflow and muting the sound, will be removed. In the end, the car won't just sound different, it will feel different. The new setup will be louder and more aggressive, but still true to the raw personality of the W16 engine. Instead of building the sound around the car's image, this time the tuning is built around the engine's real character. It's the kind of bold upgrade Bugatti would never officially approve because it doesn't match their brand image. But that's exactly why this rebuild is turning into something far bigger than a simple repair. While the exhaust system makes its way to Texas, another important piece of the puzzle is already in motion. Custom wheels are being designed using advanced 3D scanning technology. The space around those massive brake calipers leaves almost no room for error. We're talking millimeters. If the fitment is even slightly off, it's not just about looks, it affects performance and safety. That's why the scanning process matters so much. It removes guesswork and makes sure the new wheels clear every component perfectly, avoiding the costly mistakes that often ruin custom builds. Now comes the detail that really got people talking. The gearbox mounting bracket, a cast aluminum piece that connects the engine to the transmission, is the reason the entire car had to be split apart. It was damaged in the original crash. What makes it more surprising is where it sits, deep in the rear of the car. Since the accident was mainly a front-end impact, checking that far back wouldn't have been the first thought for most people. That's what started to bother Matt. He explained that they had a sudden realization. That same gearbox mount had already been flagged by Bugatti during the insurance inspection, and that raised a serious question. If the damage was at the front, why would inspectors go straight to a hidden component at the back?
It's not something most technicians would immediately check after a front-end collision.
Matt began wondering if there was more to the story. When the car was inspected for insurance, it was sent to Bugatti. So he questioned whether Bugatti in France might have contacted the inspection team in the United States and specifically asked them to examine that rear component. Because removing all the undertrays just to check that one area seems unusual, unless there was already a reason to suspect it. That possibility changes everything. It suggests that the cast aluminum bracket between the engine and gearbox might be a known weak point. Maybe it has failed before. Maybe Bugatti is aware of it. No one has confirmed it, but the situation feels too specific to ignore. In the end, the question Matt keeps coming back to is simple. How did they know exactly where to look? Pause and really think about that for a second. If Bugatti's own engineers told someone to inspect a part hidden at the back of a car that was only hit in the front and there was no clear reason to check there, then the most reasonable explanation is simple. They already knew that part could fail in certain types of crashes. This wasn't a guess. It wasn't random. They've seen this kind of damage before. They understand how it breaks. They know exactly where to look. And once you realize that, it changes the entire story about why the car was written off in the first place. If the gearbox bracket is designed to fail in a specific kind of frontal impact because crash energy travels through the drivetrain, that actually shows intelligent engineering. It means the bracket acts like a sacrificial part. It breaks in a controlled way so the transmission and other expensive components don't. That is what good crash design looks like. One smaller, cheaper piece takes the hit so the bigger, more critical parts survive. The bracket breaks so the gearbox doesn't. But here's where things start to feel uncomfortable. If Bugatti knows this bracket can fail, knows how to identify it, and knows it can be replaced, then why was the car declared a total loss? Why refuse to sell a replacement bracket? Why stay silent about it? The hard answer may come down to precedent. If insurers and independent builders discover that a crashed Chiron can return to full working condition by replacing a known weak point, then more crashed Chirons would be rebuilt instead of written off. More cars would go back on the road, and that has consequences. It could affect resale prices. It could impact the brand's exclusivity. It could weaken Bugatti's control over the narrative. The idea that a crashed Chiron is beyond saving, a tragic end rather than a repairable problem. What Matt uncovered suggests the write-off may not have been about damage that couldn't be fixed. It may have been about protecting a story. And piece by piece, fabricated part by fabricated part, he's quietly taking that story apart. He isn't just swapping out a broken bracket and calling it a day, he's rethinking it. The damaged bracket was 3D scanned using professional equipment, not to copy it exactly, but to build a detailed CAD model that could be studied and improved. The original piece was made from cast aluminum, and casting always comes with limitations. When engineers design for casting, the walls of the part need to stay fairly even in thickness so the metal cools properly and doesn't shrink unevenly. That requirement forces compromises. You can't simply add material only where strength is needed because the casting process demands balance throughout the entire shape. The end result is a part that may carry extra weight in some areas while being thinner than ideal in others. Strong, yes, but not perfectly optimized. This didn't happen because Bugatti's engineers didn't understand what they were doing. It happened because the way the part was originally manufactured limited their options. The factory method forced certain design choices, but the CNC replacement Matt is now having made doesn't suffer from those same restrictions. With modern machining, material can be added exactly where strength is needed most. The thickness of the walls can change depending on stress points, not because of production shortcuts. In simple terms, this new bracket isn't just a copy. By pure engineering standards, it's actually better than the one Bugatti installed at the factory. If Bugatti were even willing to sell that bracket, the price would likely run into tens of thousands of pounds, maybe more. The CNC version Matt is now having made costs a fraction of that, and it's stronger. And that's where things get interesting. This is exactly why manufacturers like Bugatti want tight control over who repairs their cars. Independent builders are no longer just replacing broken parts, they're improving them. The crash damaged 4 radiators, including the AC condenser. Matt shipped them back to the UK for Bob to inspect, expecting the worst. But the reaction he got was surprisingly calm. One radiator had a clear hole, another was badly bent. Still, Bob didn't see a crisis. To him, it was routine work. These weren't mysterious, one-of-a-kind Bugatti-only pieces that required factory intervention. They were high-performance radiators, complex, yes, but completely repairable by someone with the right skills.
The real challenge wasn't fixing the cores. It was recreating the exact mounting points, hose fittings, and brackets so everything would line up perfectly. But even that has a solution. By carefully measuring the undamaged unit, new end tanks can be fabricated to match the original positioning exactly. It's careful work, not impossible work. Meanwhile, Matt is moving parts between the UK and Miami in suitcases. There's nothing glamorous about it. It's awkward, it's inconvenient, and yet it's effective. The rebuild is progressing through channels Bugatti can't monitor or shut down. Piece by piece, the project is advancing. Now, the build has entered its fabrication phase. The teardown is finished. Every bit of damage has been assessed. Solutions aren't just being discussed, they're being engineered. A custom exhaust system is being built by Valvetronic Designs in Texas. The gearbox bracket is being CNC machined to a stronger, smarter specification than the original. 4 radiators are under repair in the U-pit. Custom wheels are being designed using 3D scanning to fit perfectly around those massive brake calipers. And then there's the detail that says more than anything else. Matt is thinking about buying the car from FXLXG once it's finished. He's even considering selling cars from his UK collection to fund it. That changes everything. He doesn't just want to prove it can be rebuilt, he wants to own it. Think about that for a second. Matt Armstrong is rebuilding a car the manufacturer effectively declared beyond saving, a hypercar with a split chassis, a car surrounded by doubt, and he believes in it enough to keep it for himself. He's not restoring someone else's machine to factory condition and handing over the keys. He's building it to his own standard, stronger in places, improved where possible, tailored the way he wants it. And along the way, uncomfortable questions are starting to surface. Was the write-off really about the damage? Was the gearbox bracket issue already known? Could the car always have been repaired? Maybe the silence wasn't about protecting customers at all. Maybe it was about protecting a narrative. Now that narrative is changing, not with press releases or corporate statements, but with action. One CNC machined bracket, one custom exhaust, one repaired radiator at a time.